What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Homelab Simplified. I'm Christian. Today I'm going to show you guys how to wipe and reformat this used hard drive using DiskPart in Windows PowerShell. I'll walk you through every command, explain what it does, and this way you're not just copying and pasting commands, you'll know exactly what you're doing. Alright, so let's get right into this. Let's start by taking a quick look at this drive before we plug it in.
So right here, I'm just inspecting the hard drive, checking the connector, making sure that it's not damaged before we go ahead and install it into our docking station. Once it's installed, I'll go ahead and power it on. Alright, so after we've powered on the docking station, the next thing I like to do is check the health status report of the disk. I'm going to use this free app called CrystalDiskInfo. You can get it from Microsoft Store. And so now that we've got this pulled up, here I can see the health status of the card, which is good. Temperatures within good operating temperatures, anywhere from 25 to 45 degrees Celsius. We can check the power on count to see how many times the drive has been powered on, and then how many hours this drive has been used. And so for a used hard drive off of eBay, this is practically brand new. This shows the list of attributes, and really the only ones I'm curious about is the reallocated sectors count, current pending sector count, and the uncorrectable sector count. So now that we know the actual health of this drive is good, we can go ahead and close this. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is go ahead and pull up PowerShell, and there's two ways you can do it. You can right click on Windows, which will bring up this menu, and Terminal is PowerShell. We're going to need Terminal Admin. The other way you can do it is by just pressing the Windows key and X. Brings up the same menu, so go ahead and click on that. And this is going to bring up your command line window. We're also going to pull up disk management so that you can see changes happening simultaneously as we're entering them into PowerShell. So the first command we're going to enter in is get disk, which is basically just going to list all the disks that Windows recognizes. Alright, here you can see disk 0, 1, and 2 also correlate to disk 0, 1, and 2 over here. So disk 0 here, disk 0 here, this is my boot drive. Disk 1, this is the Samsung NVMe drive I have installed in my laptop for gaming. And then disk 2 here, this is the hard drive that we have installed into the docking station. Now we're going to go ahead and enter in DiskPart, which is the utility that we want to use within Windows PowerShell to go ahead and clean or wipe and clean the disk. As you can see, it changed from PowerShell C user over to DiskPart, so that lets us know that we are now in the DiskPart utility. So now we're going to go ahead and list the disks. Here we go. Now we want to tell PowerShell that we are going to select disk 2. So you just simply type in select disk 2, enter. Alright, now it says disk 2 is now selected, so I just want to make sure that it's selected. So I'm just going to type in list disk again. And here you can see the asterisk next to disk 2, which indicates that disk 2 is selected. I also want to know the details of this disk. So I type in detailed disk. So here we can see J micron and drive letter E. 931 gigabytes and healthy, which all matches the stuff we saw up here. Alright, so that's like our quadruple check on our double check just to make sure we've selected the right disk. Alright, so this next command we're going to enter in is basically what the command that actually erases all the data. So just make sure that if you're following along that you've got the right disk selected, because once we enter in this next command, there's no going back from here. And that command is clean. Alright, so here you can see it says DiskPart succeeded in cleaning the disk. As you can see over here in disk management, it went from having like a blue upper bar here to now having a black bar, and now it says unallocated. So that means we successfully cleaned the disk. So after the disk has been cleaned and we have an allocated sector, we're going to go ahead and create a partition. So we're just going to create one large partition right here. And it's pretty simple. You just type in create partition primary. Enter. Watch what happens over here. See how it went from unallocated to now healthy primary partition. Alright, so we're almost done. We're not done yet. Now we have to format this disk. I'm going to be using this disk on Windows for a future NAS. Very small NAS, just basically a scratch NAS. And so what I'm going to do is type in format fs equals NTFS, which is for Windows. Quick. Basically telling it to do a quick format rather than a long format. Hit enter. DiskPart successfully formatted the volume. Alright, so now I can use this drive on Windows. The next thing and last thing we have to do is assign it a drive letter. So we're just going to type in assign and then hit enter, which automatically assigns the next available drive letter on your machine. So you already might have a Win letter E for one of your other drives, and so it would just be the next letter in series, and so it just automatically assigned the letter E to mine. So that's basically it, guys. That's how you clean and wipe and format a disk. And so the commands we used were get disk, DiskPart, list disk. We selected disk 2. We checked the detail of the disk, and then we typed in clean, which then cleaned it. We created a partition, we formatted it for Windows, and then we assigned it a drive letter. From here, we'll have to type in exit to exit DiskPart utility within PowerShell. Once that is done, we will go back to the PowerShell command line prompt. Here it is, and now we can go ahead and hit exit on here, which will now close PowerShell. And then we can close this. We can come down over here and eject our disk so that we can remove the hard drive from the docking station. Alright guys, hey, if you've stuck around this long, I appreciate it. Thank you for watching the video. If you like what you saw, please go ahead and subscribe, hit the thumbs up, and stay tuned for future videos. And if you watch this next little section, you can see some bloopers of mine.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Homelab Simplified. I'm Christian. Oh, that's dumb. Like, why am I pointing at myself?